Jonah Bolden. The one that stands out that I cannot wait, Mojave King. I really like that kid. I love what he did up north in Cairns, and when he was up there, didn't have a fit with Adelaide. Just something didn't work out there. That's fine. Gone and applied his trade in the G League, and from what I understand and what I saw was great. But I'm hoping he takes that next level this year. There's no doubt in my mind the starting spot's his to lose, and if he can go to that level, that will be massive for this New Zealand team in PJC, right? That will just be so good for them. For the Kings, I mean, where do you start? They're just so stacked, but the big one for me was just Cooks. Just saved, coming back, obviously, an MVP 2 seasons ago, went over to Washington, then went to Japan. A lot of talk about, not going to the Olympics and everything, so there's got to be that bit of bite in him for this, no question, but they're the two that I'm looking forward to tonight.
Karim Lopez, the next star, the Mexican next star, and of course Mr. Liam Santamaria in attendance. We had a nice chat with him in the pre-game. He's getting the start tonight, and there's been a lot of talk about him potentially at age 17 starting at some stage for this program. So already, first game out, here he is. What are your thoughts?
I'm trying to think of a guy, probably Alex Sarr last year, that came into a team with that much hype. I mean, I know we can talk LaMelo Ball and everything, but the hype of he can give you something now to take you to the next level. That's what I'm hearing from him. Now, we saw, what Alex Sarr did last year, and he was massive for Perth. Not, let's put you on the court and see how you go. We need you to win games. And from what I'm hearing and seeing this Lopez, look, he's long. You know that he can shoot. 2-3 is what we're hearing and what he's going to be like. Can get the ball off the glass, run the lane, shoot the three. Got a bit of swagger from what we're understanding, so that'll be nice. But I'm really excited to see him get up and down the court. I'm just picturing him. You got PJC bringing the ball down. You got Lopez. You got Mojave King. You got Jonah Bolden running the lane. Like, this team is stacked and can run, so I'm excited.
So we'll run through the starters quickly. There's been some late changes for both clubs, which we'll go through in a moment. But New Zealand, as I mentioned, they'll start Karim Lopez at the 3 spot, the 17-year-old next star from Mexico via Spain. The backcourt is going to be Parker Jackson Cartwright, absolute superstar. Probably still a little mad at our friend Mr. Derek Rucker about that. What was it, 7th best player in the league?
Well, we do have to mention about Ruck, because I believe on Monday is coming out his top 15. Ooh. So we've got to look out for that. I know Jack Heverin would be out there, and he's already, I did a round table with him this week, and we were talking up some teams, and he's like, man, if you think that 15 was good, well, when he did his last one, wait for this one. So he's come out early, D-Ruck, and his phone will be lighting it up on Monday.
It will be. So PJC and Mojave King, who you just spoke about in the backcourt, Karim Lopez, as I mentioned, at the 3 at age 17. The front court, Jonah is very long and very athletic. Jonah Bolden, who, of course, Brad very, very familiar with, and Freddie Gillespie, who I'm really looking forward to. He's a guy that rim protector, has had some NBA experience, but they really like him. And if you look at the Breakers when they made the grand finals, these two teams met the NBL25, one of the great grand finals that we've ever seen. When the 5 games, they had those two guys, Will McDowell-White, at the point. They kind of had that spine, and Derek Pardon. Now you've got PJC alongside of Freddie Gillespie. It's a very similar situation.
I am hearing out in New Zealand he's doing fabulous. So they're really keen on that. We should mention that Matt Mooney, their American, is out tonight, so he's not playing. So I don't know if that's why Karim's in the starting 5 or how they would do, but he's out. But again, will be very interesting.
For the Sydney Kings, they will start in the backcourt, former league MVP, actually 2 MVPs in this Sydney Kings lineup, Jalen Adams and Isaiah Liafa, who was an ex-breaker, of course, from last year, and he's been outstanding in off-season training. In the 3 spot, Alex Tui. In the 4, we get to see Kelly LaPepe out of Loyola Marymount University, the big fella. And in the 5 spot, the other league MVP, Xavier Cooks. So, and speaking of players that are out, Bolt Quoll tonight will not play.
I was really hoping to see him.
I saw him, he looked fine. I was at King's training on Tuesday. He looked fine. There's nothing to worry about. There's no injury, according to Sydney Kings CEO of basketball operations, Chris Pongrass. Had a word to him prior to the game. These two teams are actually conducting a closed-door scrimmage here in Sydney on Sunday. So Bowl is definitely going to play that game. So nothing to really worry about. Just Ryan Gorgian having a look at some different lineups tonight.
Mate, you've mentioned a number of those Kings players. I just got to say to you, Kelly Lepepe, I know when I was playing, I was pretty lean. His leg is wider than my body was when I was playing. Mate, the arms on this guy, he will never ever lose an arm wrestle. That arm on him, oh my goodness. And he's got the long hair, and oh my goodness, this guy is going to be a Sydney fan favourite, I can tell you right now.
So, Ryan Gorgian making his return to the purple and gold for the first time since the 2007-2008 season.
I'm smiling because Matty and I went in to have a little chat with Gorge before tip-off, and he opened the door up, and I don't think we spoke basketball for about an hour, actually. We just had a whole lot of fun, and Gorge being Gorge.
We did.
Great fun. Great man.
But absolutely, he's thrilled to be back.
He is.
And loves the city.
That really came through in spades, didn't it? He just said he is just loving being back with this program. Well,
you look at his record, and it's pretty much unparalleled here in Sydney. And how's this for a record? 160 in Sydney. This is just in Sydney. 165 wins, 65 losses. That's 73% winning rate. Wow. 3 championships, 5 grand finals, 5 times led the regular season, made 6 straight semi-finals in his 6-year stint between 2002-2008. So that's why one big reason after what was really a disappointing season, Kings going for the second three-peat and knocked out even before reaching the playoffs. So that was tough to swallow for Kings fans, used to great success.
Look, this venue brings back some fabulous memories as well, Matt. I think of Game 4, Sydney Kings. I was lucky enough to be Gorge's assistant with Billy T, who's on the sideline as well. And Game 4 playing West Sydney, we're down 2-1, and what a win that was. And just Gorge, I just remember how pumped he was afterwards.
One of the great grand finals of all time, the 2004 Championship Series. So, it'll be Xavier Cooks to jump centre against Freddie Gillespie. Breakers in their now familiar pink uniforms, Kings in their new purple jerseys.
Actually, like both sets of uniforms, they look really good.
Jalen Adams controls it. And here we go. Matt McQuaid and Brad Rosen with you. Straight away, you can see Gillespie's chops trying to knock the ball away. Cooks. Lepepe, free ball. Cooks right on the offensive glass and draws the foul.
Well, just that first play, you can see which this ball club's going to do. It's going to go through Cooks. Gets the ball, kicks it. Beautiful on-ball screen with Jalen Adams. Kicks it to the wing and then crashes the glass. One of Xavier's best attributes is the way he crashes that offensive glass.
Cooks can't make it happen. And here's Mojave King the other way, knocked away by Alex Tui. And here's Parker Jackson Cartwright. Steps into it mid-range and knocks it down from the elbow. Does PJC to open the scoring?
He did that all last year, averaged just over 20 points a game and was unbelievable in some games that we saw him live in Sydney. And he's just taken off straight where he finished last year.
Alex Tui. Liafa for 3. Got it.
One of the big off-season signings. I do like what he gives them. His defensive presence, you'll watch him get up the floor here on PJC. He'll do that all season long, and he will make sure that he's up and in, and he's a real Gorgian-type player.
He's going to get a lot of open looks too, and he's a very good outside shooter. They look inside. Too strong. Tui the other way. For the deuce. Baker's out and running. He fires short with it, and rebound Liafa. As you said, Brad, loves to get in, get his hands dirty. Excellent defender. He's been, as I mentioned, terrific in pre-season training. Tui trying to force his way, score it, and the foul.
Well, what I'm liking here at the moment from the Kings is the ball movement. One of the big attributes that came out of last year, and what was the problem was it was very heavy dominated with ball dribble. This time straight away, one side to the other, and New Zealand just couldn't match with it. And now New Zealand makes some substitutions and bring in Meninga. And of course, we haven't spoken about another great signing, Mitch McCarron, coming across from Adelaide. A crafty veteran, an NBL championship winner with United, and he'll be a great fit for them.
I actually think that's a really underrated signing. It's two, he converts a three-point play. Kings have got 8 straight. And this is a typical Brian Goorjian pressure up the floor that we're going to see a whole bunch of this season. Jackson Cartwright. Lear's such a good on-ball defender. Looks inside and throws it away. Tui pushing the pace again. Nice little step through and the length, but off the mark. And rebounded Sam Meninga. And got a foul there.
Well, that was a real nice pocket little pass there by PJC, and that'll just come with time. He and Jonah just haven't had enough time together, but I do like the fact that the on-ball screen. Just got to be careful here in New Zealand that they don't over-dribble the ball. The ball's got to move like it is for the other end for the Sydney Kings and then get some movement and wide-open shots.
Jackson Cartwright, a little dump into Meninga. Karen fires. And rebound, Tui.
Better look.
Breakers are ice cold. Adams, a little hezzy dribble. Corks looking to go downhill and scores. He went right at Jonah Bolden and finished with a left, and the Kings have got 10 straight here to lead by 8 early stages of the first period here from the Quaycentre. Then a little handoff. Jackson Cartwright, nice pass to McCarron and draws the foul. 3-point play opportunity for Mitch. Super feed. Great. Jackson Cartwright. It's something, part of his game. He was second in the league in assists last year.
Yes, he was.
Not really, people don't really give him enough credit, I think, being an outstanding facilitator that he is. He's going to take a seat as is Mojave King, as new head coach Petri Koponen making multiple changes early here.
Well, I do like this. I mean, I know Sydney haven't made a sub yet, and you look at New Zealand, they've probably got 9 players already gone in here, and you can just see that New Zealand need time. And it will come. You don't worry about a 10-2 start that's now 10-5. They just got to get their stance and get the right players in and get them involved. But looking good on the defensive end is the key.
Nice little fake from Learfa. Turnaround hits. Isaiah Learfa with 5 early points, and the Kings lead by 7. And looking inside.
Another good signing for them in Meninga as well. Very big body, gets the ball down low, and he can finish down there like that. Very good left-handed. Was outstanding for Cairns last year and a big pickup for New Zealand.
Yeah, great deep catch there. It's back to 5. Adams as ever exploring. Learfa again hesitate. Cooks. That's the shot people are going to give him. Got it.
And that's what he's been working on, certainly over in the NBA and then in Japan as well. He gets that down consistently. It's nearly unguardable.
It's trailing by 8. McCarron. Meninga fires. That's off the mark. And Tui has been strong on the glass early. Tui again putting maximum heat on the rim. There's Alex Tui. He's got 7, and the Kings lead is double figures.
Well, what the problem with New Zealand is, they've just got to guard their man. It's not really coming from help or anything like that. You've just got to be able to stop. A couple of penetrations here that's been easy for the Kings, straight at the rim. You just got to put your center of your chest right in their chest and stop your man.
Little up fake. Now firing away from deep. Again, breakers. Cold from 3. 0 of 4 now to get us underway in this opening period. Cooks again goes downhill and draws the foul. And that's where he is just so tough. He sees the lane. He's going right through it. Yes.
Well, here comes the substitutions, and another massive signing in the off-season here is Cam Oliver. Of course, we know him outstanding playing for Cairns a few seasons ago. And Quaycentre checks in as well.
And Makooch Malawatch, so multiple subs.
Sean Bruce, so he's brought in 4.
The Arthur isn't knocked away, but here's Noy inside, too strong. Jackson Cartwright moves it across the timeline. Again, the Arthur picks him up. Jackson Cartwright's so crafty. Again, just can't find the basket at the moment, the Breakers. And there's a foul.
Look, I know you can look at it and go 7 points for the quarter so far, shooting at 42% and haven't hit a 3. But I don't mind what New Zealand are doing. You can see it's very early in the season. They have had some decent looks. They're not dropping. Yes, there's been some, issues on the defensive end that they'll close out. But all in all, it's not an awful start. But for the Kings, it's been dynamite.
Bruce. Oliver, so tough in the post. Little fade from Space Cam is way short, though. Come the Breakers the other way. Noy knocks it away, but comes back and firing for 3 again off the mark. There's the Breakers. Here's Cam Oliver. Oh, nice look inside to Bruce for the deuce, and timeout New Zealand. Pedrick Copeland not liking what he's seeing at the moment. Breakers trail by 12. 3:44 left in the opening period, Brad Rosen.
Yeah, I think, like I said, the thing that will be upsetting New Zealand coach and team is just how many easy baskets they've been able to get. A couple have been just one-on-one defence, not being able to do it and get some layups. That little backdoor cut. You take out those 6 to 8 points, and New Zealand are right in this game, and that's what he'll be focusing at right now. Offensively for New Zealand, they're getting okay looks. They've just got to make sure that it'll come. Just make sure they're getting through it. For the Sydney Kings, exactly the start they would want. They've come out hard. They're running their sets beautifully. Defensively, they're up, they're in. They're pushing New Zealand out of their stuff and making them take tough shots. So overall, I think, you see both sides of it. The thing for the Kings now is not to drop off. They have to make sure that they keep that intensity. And for New Zealand, the shots will start dropping and they'll get back in this game.
Kings shooting the ball 61% to start, 8 of 13. New Zealand just 3 of 9 at 33%. Kings 2 of 3 from deep. New Zealand 0 of 5. So, first look at another new recruit for the Sydney Kings, Tyler Robertson.
Knockdown shooter.
Yep. Played for the University of Portland last year. Now this time, Coach Malawatch getting the assignment from BJC.
Look, he showed some good signs last year that he can fit into this league. Look at that.
Oh, what a move
that
by Jackson Cartwright for the deuce. Superb. He's just got a way of slithering to the basket and just finding those gaps. PJC, outstanding move. As Malawatch goes reverse, misses everything. Jackson Cartwright foul line, gets it to fall. So PJC looking to impose his will. He's got 4 straight. And Breakers back within 8.
Talking on the round table the other day, and just the fact that I think this will be his team and he will drive this car and this engine, everything the way he wants. We could see him go to amazing heights this year, and already as they knock down the 3 of the Sydney Kings, PJC is looking great.
Kua Noy buries it top of the key. Kings back out by 11. Jackson Cartwright looking for King, but well defended off the ball by Bruce. King looking inside. Again, they kick it out. No good. And here comes Bruce the other way. Oh, good look inside to Oliver for 2.
Wow.
King's ball movement has been excellent early. That's his 6th assist. Here's King. We talked about him on the next start. Played for the G League last year. And 3 ball is finally good. And Tesovic knocks that one down. He's come back from Germany. A stint there, of course, started his career with South East Melbourne Magic a couple of years ago. Bruce, nice little crossover. Oh, what a pass again! This time Malawatch to the recipient. Just and the King's ball movement.
Great
action. A real standout
Absolutely.
So far.
Ball movement, great action as well. Good screening, good cutting, and cutting with purpose, and that's a huge key.
King fires away over Robertson in and out. Oh, bangs bodies with Anticevic on the floor. Yeah, just too many bodies in there. Oliver finds Malawatch. That's off the mark. And the breakers will clear. Jackson Cartwright going to force his way in. It's knocked out of bounds. Still breakers ball. And some multiple substitutions for the men in pink. Jonah Bolden, Max Darling, who played for Brian Gorgian at the Illawarra Hawks a few years ago. And Mitch McCarron come back into the lineup. McCarron. Darling, straight off the bench, launches it. And that's going to stay no. It's going to the Kings.
Again, another good for New Zealand. That came from Dane Pineau setting a good screen, and one of the most underrated plays is setting good screens. It allows you to get your point guard over it, and that's what happened then. Good move.
Great pass by Bruce. And Sean Bruce is up and about early. And Cameron Oliver will go to the line for 2. Bruce already with 3 assists.
Well, I think there just comes a time when you start to get a little bit worried if you're New Zealand that was just a simple in-out dribble there from Sean Bruce and was able to get his feet in the paint, and now you've got to get help. They've really just got to be able to one-on-one lock their man down.
Of course, Cam Oliver, All-NBL second team and the NBL rebounding champion in 2020 with the Cairns Taipans, and has played in the NBA with Houston and Atlanta the last couple of years, as well as stints in Spain, Puerto Rico and China. 1 or 2 there for Oliver. Here's McCarron. Harassed by the always dogged and annoying for opposition team Sean Bruce, who deflects it. Oh, great pass, McCarron. And it's King looking to slam it, but met at the rim. There's a foul.
And that's what McCarron does well. I love it. He's just crafty. Just knows where the ball is, was able to get it, could see that Mojave King was running, and he just passes it to him, and King goes upstairs, and good foul. Make him earn it.
Knocks the first one down as Mojave. And I'd like to welcome everybody watching in New Zealand. It's great Breaker fans. Now, Trans-Tasman cousins. They do a fantastic job, the Breakers in the community over there. It's been such a success. I remember when it all started in 2003. I was there for the first Kings game, the old North Shore Events Centre.
Beautiful venue.
Oliver at the buzzer, hits it. So Cam Oliver knocks it down. The 2 inside, and the Sydney Kings off to a flyer early. They lead by 13, 29-16. Brad Rosen.
Great quarter by the Sydney Kings, 29 points, shooting the ball at a nice clip at 63% from 12 of 19. But to go with that, on their 19 makes, they got 9 assists, and that's what's really nice to be able to get that done to go ahead with their 9 rebounds for the quarter. For New Zealand, they're just shooting at 40%, 1 of 8 from the 3-point line, but it really, the whole game comes down to the fact so far that they've given up 29 points. It's too much. You can't be expected to be in games if you're giving up that much. And Matty, I know we can look here and we can say they didn't shoot the ball well, but to me, they've given up 5 to 10 points on simple basketball. You can afford to lose shots, but when you're giving up just one-on-one defensive stops, you're just not going to win games or at least quarters like that.
Well, the stats bear out what you're saying, Brad. 14 points in the paint.
Yeah.
It's just too many. And that's...
but it's a simple one, Matt. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I use that Sean Bruce situation. The in-out dribble, like, that's just one-on-one basketball. You've got to be able to defend at this level.
2024-2025 is going to be a huge season for the Sydney Kings as they aim to take the throne. They need your help, and they need you there in the stands. If you haven't already, you can grab your season membership now from just $59. Become a member today at ticketek.com.au/Sydney Kings.
Matt, Kudos is going to be going off this year. They got some fantastic players. You saw Cam Oliver as he did that little turnaround, give it a little swagger. The crowd's going to love him. Jalen Adams back. Xavier doing what Xavier does really well. And I'm just really... And of course, Lepepe, what a fan favourite he's going to be.
Kings come out with Adams, Liafa, Tui, Cam Oliver and Xavier Cooks. Breakers will come out with Mitch McCarron, Brandon Tesevich, and we're underway. Sam Meninga. We're underway in the second period. Matt McQuaid and Brad Rosen here with you from the Quaycentre. The old State Sports Centre. Meninga on that up fake and gets whacked on the way through by Xavier Cooks, and Sam Meninga will shoot too.
Well, again, Gorge won't be happy with that. That's just a one-on-one defence to allow your personnel to go straight down the middle. So Xav doing what he should do, and that's make Meninga earn it from the stripe. But very impressive. Gorge just doing Gorge things, brings his team out. They are right on sync. You can see Billy T's done a great job while Gorge has been away with the Boomers, and the coaching staff has done great. And, of course, we need to mention a very dear signing that's just happened, and he's sitting behind the bench, and that's that former NBA player in Jalen Galloway who's not suiting up as well, and he's behind the bench tonight. Only been back and training for a couple of days is my understanding with them, so was never probably looking tonight. So great signing for them, though, coming back from the Bucks.
Meninga 2-2 at the line. Opens the scoring in the second period. Of course, Breakers also with Sam Bairstow out there, brother of Cameron Bairstow. 3-ball in the air, and if he's going to go to the next level, Alex Tui, and that is a shot he has got to be consistent with. That's a good sign for him.
Well, it is a good sign.
He's been outstanding early. He's into double figures with 10 on that 3-ball. Nice Hezzy there, but too strong on the left-handed dribble drive from Meninga. Here's Cooks. Loves to get downhill too easy. Straight to the cup for the deuce.
And that is the Xavier Cooks that's the MVP of this league. Just too easy. Grabs it off the glass, coast to coast. Xavier Cooks doing Xavier Cooks things.
Isaac looking inside. Meninga throws it up. Oliver grabs the rebound. Kings again looking to run. Adams. Oliver.
Great
look to Tui in the corner and misses everything. And again, the Kings just finding the open man at will here early.
Well, it's great off-ball action. That's what I'm love watching with the Kings at the moment.
McCarron has it knocked away, and that's going to go to the Kings out of bounds off Mitchell. And Kelly Pepe will come into the game. Cam Oliver will take a seat. I think what we're seeing early from the Kings, Brad, and I know very early stages, this is their opening game, but it's that style of play. They want to get this thing in transition as much as they possibly can. And in the half court, it's just all about ball movement. Again, Cooks goes downhill, gets a lane and scores. I mean, it's one thing laying off. You can lay off a little too much and give him a little too much space. And Cooks, he's got 9 now. And the Kings have doubled up the Breakers. Oh, a little step through from King.
Nice little move. Yeah, Matty, getting back to what you were saying, and I completely agree, the pace of the Sydney Kings is huge, and there's a couple of reasons why they need that. They don't have the 7-footers, the 6'11s, the big guys that are going to be running. You know, you talk about the Brisbanes and you know, even Perth with the way they've got to get up and down, and you can roll it inside and get these guys play. For the Sydney Kings, they've got Cam Oliver, and then they can have Zave playing in that 5. So it's about getting up and down the court. How do you do that? You go at pace, and you do it on the defensive end. They've got 9, 10 guys that they can put on the court at any time. So Gauze, you'd be saying to them, there's no let-off. We go 100% all the time. You'll be out, you're back in if you need to be. So I anticipate and would expect them to be high tempo every second they are on the court.
So it's a line for Mojave. He's got 4. Breakers trail by 16. Early in the second period. Jalen Adams, who statistically had a good year last year, but didn't quite have the same MVP type impact. And he had, when they won that championship. Step back shot, Adams fires, too strong. And that was a part of his game that really fell away. And it's 2, he commits the foul on the open floor. But that 3 ball for him was really, that was a bit of an adventure at times. At times he could knock him down, at times he would be absolutely ice cold. And I think it's part of his game that probably will want to getting a bit more consistent in the season proper. Jonah Bolden playing against his old team. Excellent offensive rebounder is Jonah.
Well, I like the aggression. I like the aggression from Jonah. Gets the ball and goes straight at Xavier Cooks. Xavier's a great defender, but he is shorter, and Jonah's longer. So go straight at him and go hard.
And I want to talk about Jonah a little bit, Brad. Second season from, obviously, last season, hadn't played for 3 years.
Yep.
And I thought did a terrific job for the most part in the minutes that he had. Probably didn't get the minutes that people might have thought, but it seems to me that the Breakers are going to be the beneficiaries of him in his second year. Now he's had a year under his belt. Of course, he misses the free throw, the old McQuaid commentary curse. Never fails. But I just feel like this is a really huge year for him.
Well, it is.
His basketball career.
The one thing I can say and I know about Jonah is he's the utmost professional. And he will have his body and mind ready for the game. Can he get back to, we've got to have to remember he played 2 seasons in the NBA with the Philadelphia 76ers. As a 3 drops for Jalen Adams. Oh, it was a 2 just on the foot because I was just about to have a go at you, Matty, saying how was his 3s. But for Jonah, I think it'll be really good to see him play with PJC, and hopefully he has an outstanding season.
Lopez fires in and out. Again, the Breakers just can't get anything to fall from 3. 1 of 9 now.
Great pass by PJC.
And a knockdown.
Beautiful recognition.
From Mojave King. That's a shot he can hit.
So one of the Achilles heel for the Kings could potentially be giving up offensive rebounds as well, because they are a little bit shorter. We look at this team now, and you got Lepepe and Cooks playing in that 4-5. Now you've seen they've given up a couple of offensive boards here, and that's what oppositions will target. But to do that, you've got to play good offense and not take rash shots.
The inside for Cooks.
Just
Cooks
so
with a hook. My goodness.
So crafty. And as good as he was 2 years ago, you can see that he's come back better. The time in the NBA in Japan, he looks outstanding.
Second King into double figures with 11. Now knocked away by Adams. Tui, easy step through, tries to jam it, but he's fouled. Wow. Tui will go to the line for 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, look at the athleticism from both of them to be able to go upstairs. Matty Tui went up there and Lopez just says, I can get a piece of this. Foul's called and he'll go to the line, but love the athleticism.
I think, again, it's very, very early days, and you don't want to overreact to anything. But clearly, Brian Goorjian's going to have a squad. He's going to have some headaches getting minutes for all these guys. I mean, again, no Bowl Qual, no Jalen Galloway, and they will be expected to be significant contributors for this team. But
yeah, but he's
the
the master. That's what he does. I mean, I go back to Magic days. Look at the teams he had. Like. You look at the Pepper, the Anstey, the Ronaldsons, the Dorges, and the ways and the imports that he had, Rob Roses and D-Max and stuff. He will. This is his dream to have players like this.
Another turnover for the Breakers. And the Kings looking to make them pay. Adams steps into a triple. And a great offensive rebound. Again, Liafa just working so hard. Tui leaves that short. And knocked out of bounds by Pepe. And that's why Isaiah Liafa is going to be an underrated, excellent signing for this team. He's a classic Georgian player, isn't he?
Yeah, great signing.
We know that Brian has a type. And that's that hard-nosed, prepared to put his body on the line, can hit the three, but defensively, that's where he makes his money.
I mean, look at the way he's guarding here. You can see it. He just doesn't want correct. He just doesn't want PJC to touch this ball, make someone else play, and make the play for this team.
Little up fake and off the mark, but then rebound looked like Jonah Bolden was being held, and he was. Cam Oliver called for that one, his first. Jonah Bolden will go to the line for two. There's Cooch Malawatch about to come into the game for the purple and gold. Alex Tui will take a seat.
Good minutes by Alex Tui so far. He's really come out playing lovely.
12 points,
ready to play. Yep, ready to play. And that's another sign that you want to say to your coach, like everything that's gone on. Tui's the next star. There's a lot of talk. What's happened? Was it good last year? Did he perform the way he should? What's he going to be like this year? All you can do is go out and show your coach, I'm ready to play, and he's come ready to play tonight.
And Jonah Bolden misfiring from the free throw line. Finally gets one to go. So Kings by 18. Good crowd in here tonight at the Quaycentre for a pre-season game. A lot of excitement here in Sydney at the season upcoming. Which, considering the finish they had to NBL25, says a lot, because this team, it's hard to believe when you look back at it. Started NBL24 7-3 and finished 13-16. So they lost 13 in their last 19 games. It was
I can tell you one thing, Matt.
Significant fall from grace.
That's not going to happen this year.
Three is off the mark. And here's Gillespie, and again knocked away by Cam Oliver. Here we go. Oliver with a slam. Space Cam in effect.
Well, that's just sloppy turnovers by New Zealand. There's been a number of them, and you just got to be ready. That just threw it, little one-handed pass. And the Kings are up and in defensively, and Cam Oliver, Space Cam as they call him, went upstairs.
Pulling the trigger on three. That's a poor shot there in the corner from Lopez. And here's Oliver again. Malawatch, they're just penetrating at will. A Pepe three ball, that's good. Penetrate pitch. Kings by 20, 23. Check that. Timeout breakers, Brad Rosen.
Well, now it's starting to get a bit of a situation from New Zealand because they're not learning from their mistakes. I said it in the first quarter, you'd expect them to be a little bit not ready, if I call it. They haven't had a lot of time together. From all accounts, they've had new players coming in and out, but to give up 47 points and there's still 4 minutes and change to go in this first half, it's just not enough. And Matty, the worrying sign is how they're giving it up. Yes, it's pre-season and, you need to talk about it, but there's just things that you need to lay the foundations as a team. And those are no sloppy turnovers, play with energy, and guard your man. And those three things are not happening tonight so far.
Well, I got to make the point. The Breakers made 8 changes in the off-season. Yeah. 8 changes.
And that's very evident here tonight.
Mody May may have been the most important change.
Yes, agreed.
Because, he set the tone. From there's that overused word culture, right? We always talk about that. And he did a magnificent job in setting a standard for that program. And, it's going to take, again, Petri Koponen was a superstar in Europe as a player.
Amen.
First round draft pick, of course, way back in the day. Never played NBA, but he's extremely highly thought of across the basketball world. Assistant coach with the Spurs at the Summer League
and a real players coach from all accounts too.
Coach. Yep. But again, first-year head coach. So great learning experience for this team, and they've got to figure things out. That obviously they're without an import. We say that again, Matt Mooney, who's going to be crucial for them this season. They started a 17-year-old. There's Gillespie. One's Anasevich. Jackson Cartwright, 4-3. Got it.
Well, if there's one positive to come out, he looks great tonight. Jackson Cartwright has come out ready. He's got 9 points for the game so far. But it's the little things that you just want New Zealand to change now, the guarding. That's better defence, and it's just a better offence in that set. You live with that, but it's the sloppy turnovers and the ones that they're not guarding their man that's the ones that are the problem.
Turned out the 3 that time. Did Lopez. Here's Gillespie. Kind of trying to want to get him on track a little bit. Struggled a bit early. And PJC he is an absolute menace to guard. And just a great, he's one of those guys. I mean, this guy was an MVP of the Bundesliga. I mean, this guy is a serious talent, but you just love his attitude. You know, he's got a heart bigger than him. And such a great addition to the National Basketball League.
Well, I do agree with you about Freddie Gillespie. I mean, he comes here, he's, from all accounts, an outstanding rim protector. He's played 29 games in the NBA, with Toronto and Orlando. And I think we certainly expect more than what we're seeing at the moment. Again, very early.
Kuat Noi throws it up and draws the foul. He went right at Max Darling. And the Kings just basically getting whatever they want right now. And the Breakers struggling to adjust as Mitch McCarron will come into the ball game. PJC will take a seat. Just getting back to the Breakers, I mean, obviously down by a lot for both teams this season opener. There is a lot of talent, and Matt Mooney is an absolute sniper at the 3 spot, and he's that backcourt, him and PJC, and if this kid, Karim Lopez, lot to put on a kid, and literally at 17, can't even drink yet in this country. So
athletes don't drink, Matt, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't resemble that remark in any way, shape or form, Mr. Rosen.
I was an athlete.
Good defense. Again, the Kings. That time, Cooch Malawatch and the Breakers, and yet another turnover. And that's their 8th of the half. But this is where they've had no answers for Sydney. Sean Bruce fires away in the corner, almost banked it in off the side. And here's McCarron the other way. Menenga pulls up for 3, got it.
Well, he showed times last year where he can knock that down quite consistently. Not one to have it and shoot it when someone's hand is up, but in that time, wide open, good trail on the offensive end, and great pass as well, and knocks down the 3 in a timely amount that is needed.
Looking to respond, too strong. And here's LaPepe. Little fade away from Kelly. Buries it. So this is what we've seen in training from that young man. Just the soft touch. And knocks down another one. He's been highly impressive early. 5 points for him.
I'm just watching Gorshin, and you hopefully can see this on the cameras here. He is up and he is in. He is not looking at the scoreboard. He doesn't care. He just wants his players to be playing the defense that is going to win championships. He just looks at every single one of them. He wants them down in their stance. They're up and they're in. We saw the last possession that's a turnover. Forget the scoreboard. Don't care what time it is. We play. And that's what looking so good tonight.
Yes. Karen knocks down the first. Makes them both. Zealand trail by 21. Here's Sean Bruce, top 10 franchise history for the Kings in games played and signed a 2-year contract, so he's going to be top 5. Here's Noy firing away. It's one of the great role players and veterans of this league.
Done a great job.
Sean. Again, look at that Kings just absolutely everywhere. Here's LaPepe. Oh, he's a layup. take the 2, and he's got 7. Again, the Breakers just struggling with this Kings pressure. Now that's stripped. That's come off Sam Bairstow. Brings them up to 9. Check that, 10 turnovers now.
Well, the Kings have just put so much pressure on them. New Zealand don't actually know how to get out of this. They're struggling. Their energy looks down, and the Kings are just feeling blood and trying to get blood here.
Almost a turnover, and it is. And believe it or not, Brad, according to live stats, that's actually the Kings' first turnover of the ball game.
Wow.
Here's McCarron. Trying to force his way in. Lepepe says, forget about that. Bruce pulls up, had a foot on the line. No, they give him 3. No, it was 2. Yeah, the official closest to us just corrected that. So long-range deuce. Terrible shot from Sean. Worst shot in the game, as they say.
Unless it goes in.
Unless it goes down.
I was just watching Mitch McCarron there. Came down awkward on his leg. He got up shaking a little bit, but he seems to be fine, and he's a warrior. He'll push through.
Here he is, matched up against Malawatch, who talked about him.
We'll just look at
really
New Zealand.
Productive minutes.
Matty, I'm just watching. Look where they've got to start their possession.
Oh, another turnover almost, knocked away by Kuat Noi.
We watch both ends of the floor here, and I know they've got a couple of possessions left of the half, but everything New Zealand are doing are 2 and 3 feet and steps outside the three-point line, where the Kings are on or inside the three-point line. Look at the defense. Up, in, doubling here. Don't let him get the ball. Swings it across. Got to shoot a wide open 3, and it's a block. Great defense by the Sydney Kings.
And Savage. They got a piece of it, so the Kings will play for the last shot. Here's Sean Bruce. Oliver launches it, hits it. Cameron Oliver, Space Cam, knocks down the 3. He's got 12. And it is half-time here at the Quaycentre with your score. The Sydney Kings 60, the New Zealand Breakers 32. Before we go to a break, Brad Rosen, just some quick thoughts.
Well, just 2 completely different ball games. The Sydney Kings, you could not be happier. Gives up 32 points in a half, so defensively very happy, causing major turnovers. Up, in, playing great basketball. Offensively, ball going from one side to the other. Great looks, shooting at a high clip, and scores 60. For New Zealand, it just comes now with heart. Forget the scoreline. They'll get ripped into this half time, and now they've got to come out, play with energy, don't turn the ball over, and play some defense.
So once again, you score the Kings 60, the Breakers 32. We're going to take a break here from the Quaycentre, but stay with us. You're watching NBL preseason basketball on the NBL website or the NBL app. Welcome back to the Quaycentre. Score at halftime here. Sydney Kings with an outstanding first half, leading 60-32. Brad Rosen, take us through the halftime stats.
Well, Matty, it's not pretty if you're listening from New Zealand. We are sorry about that. And, of course, I think it's about 10:30 at night there. So we hope everyone's happy and watching. But, look, I think we can obviously see the score as 60-32. But it's pre-season. It's their first game. And you're not walking in that change room thinking, oh, my God, this is going to be a long season. I'm watching this team and I can honestly see how they can work into this program. I had them in my 6 for the season, and nothing's changed with what I've seen. The things that they've done wrong tonight are very easy things to fix. They're not guarding a man one-on-one. That's just, you've got to be able to do that. They're not getting up and in on defence, and they're allowing Sydney Kings to dictate it, and they're just not dropping the ball. And that's as simple as it is. They look like they are underdone. Whether that's a right thing or a wrong thing right now at this time of the year, it's a very big pre-season, or a very long pre-season, I should say. So they just look like they haven't come ready tonight. But all in all, New Zealand, 32 points. It's not enough, but it's the things that got them. For the Sydney Kings, outstanding. Exactly what you would expect from a Brian Goorjian coach team, and certainly for his first game. Every one of these players, and someone that's been around this program and knows what Gorge thinks, every one of those players know that they are fighting for minutes every time they step on the court, and that's what the players look like tonight. They know it's not about tonight, it's about the season, and how am I going to get this? And Goorjian's getting in and out, and what I love is Xavier Cooks has come out and he has not missed a beat. Former MVP 2 seasons ago. Forget all this talk about Olympics and what happened. Come out tonight, 11 points, looks outstanding and leading this team. Smiling, happy, running the floor. Great, great work.
So the Sydney Kings shooting the ball at 61%, 24 of 39 at halftime. They're 6 of 15 from deep at 40%, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. 3 players in double figures, led by Alex Tui. He looked really impressive early, especially putting heat on the rim. He's got 12 points and a couple of rebounds. Xavier Cooks, well, he hasn't missed a beat and really has set the tone. As soon as he stepped on the court, 11 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 4 rebounds, but in just 9 minutes of action and just basically getting whatever he wants. Cam Oliver, quiet start, but he's really worked hard into his game, and if he's sticking the 3, you may as well forget about it. 12 points for him, and he's 1 of 3 from deep. Also has a team high 6 rebounds. New Zealand isn't pretty, obviously, as Brad mentioned. They're shooting the ball just 34% from the field, 9 of 26, 4 of 14 from three-point range, 10 of 15 from the free throw line. So they managed to get to the line, but they're led by Parker Jackson Cartwright, who hasn't missed a field goal, Brad. 4 of 4 from the field.
Yeah, he's looked good.
For his 9, looked extremely good. Mojave King's done some nice things. He's got 7, although he's only shooting 1 of 4 from the field. And Sam Meninga's been solid, 7 points.
Yeah, he's been
2 boards.
A good pick. A couple of other things I noticed in that as well, Matt. Assists, 18-6. Sydney are in front. And that's 18 assists off 39 makes, so that's very good for the Kings. And turnovers, I mean, you mentioned it when you said, I couldn't believe it, 50 seconds to go, and that was their first turnover for the Sydney Kings. So they finished with 1 turnover for the half compared to New Zealand's 11. And terrible turnovers they were as well. Some led to just simple layups.
Just feel like in this second half, what do New Zealand want to get out of this? I mean, for me, obviously we've talked about defensively, but for me it's more the physicality.
Yeah.
I just think they haven't made the Kings feel them in any way, shape or form physically. So if I'm Coach Copenhagen, I mean, one of the things I'm saying is let's up and in, let's bump them, let's bump the cutters, let's get really physical with these guys, because the Kings have just basically overwhelmed them in that first half, and I think it had a lot to, that lack of physicality from New Zealand had a lot to do with it.
Well, I think it does, and they have started Mitch McCarron here in this second half instead of Mojave King.
He's that kind of guy.
Yeah, I think he can start that, but you're right. Here's a little bit, the ball's getting out, they're up and in a little bit more. I mean, it's only the first few possessions, but that's the kind of thing they need.
So we're underway in the second half. Matt McQuaid and Brad Rosen with you. Was Lepepe short on that 3 ball, and rebound Jackson Cartwright. McCarron. And also Freddie Gillespie coming off the bench. Sam Meninga taking his spot for the Breakers. Jackson Cartwright with a little rip through. Pulling the trigger from deep was Lopez, but he's had a tough initiation so far. The next star, Jackson Cartwright. What a beautiful move. And it goes. PJC is 5 for 5 from the field.
When you're down by 28 points or whatever they're down by now, 26, and a guy is playing a great game like PJC, you very rarely see it. He looks magnificent.
Tui just attacks. Puts heat on the rim as he's done all night long.
That last possession for New Zealand, one of the things I did notice is it was a good defensive possession. They got the stop, they came down, but it took them till 8 seconds left on the shot clock to actually get into something. And that's the bit that's preseason. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was dribble, dribble, dribble. McCarron was trying to get people into the position, and next thing you know, there's 8 seconds. PJC drives and it gets kicked for a 3, but that's the type of thing that they've got to be able to get going and get in, and that'll come with time on the court together. And I thought you made a great point before, Matty. 8 new players.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Absolutely.
You can train every day of the week. You need game time, and that's what this will give them.
And as I also mentioned, I think the biggest change is definitely Moto Bayor leaving.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and
well,
what he and Dan Shamir did and how they created that amazing breaker culture. And I get it's an overused word, but when it comes to them, it's the truth, and it's just setting particular standards. And, you know, he was an outstanding head coach for this program.
Big loss.
You know, it's going to take Coach Copeland time because obviously this league is new to him as well, and brand new coaching staff. All European coaching staff as well, which I found fascinating. So it's not an indication of the style of play perhaps that they're looking to play. Menenga, little handoff.
Good offense.
Karen fires 3 ball. And rebound controlled by Cooks. Again, Cooks. That time, sloppy. Only the Kings' second turnover of the ball game.
I'm good with that. Gets it off the ring, drives. They get everyone out. He tried to go one-on-one. Good defense as well from New Zealand, not allowing a layup. And then he kicks it to the wing. If I'm Gorgian, I'm fine. That's what we want from Xavier Cooks.
Again, Leafa picking up PJC in the backcourt. Jackson Cartwright looking to play the 2-man game with Jonah Bolden. Throws it up, draws the foul. Xavier Cooks puts his hand up, saying that was me. And Jonah Bolden will go to the line for 2.
Well, I like when Jonah sets that screen. He does tend to flare. He can shoot the 3, so that's why he will flare rather than roll to the hoop. And the one good thing is they will run at him because they know he can drop it down. Then he puts it on the floor and he takes a nice 1 or 2 dribbles to the hoop and gets fouled. Now he's got to knock his free throws down.
And tickets for the 2024-2025 season for the Sydney Kings are on sale now. First home game of the regular season is Sunday, 29th of September against the Illawarra Hawks, and then there's 6 games before Christmas.
The Hawkies, Matty, coming up the highway.
That's it. And then another 7 post-Christmas. Grab your tickets from ticketek.com.au/Sydney Kings. Here's Cooks, goes downhill, loses it. Kings recover, 11 on the shot clock. Adams, he just picked his moments. He's let the game come to him, Jalen. Oh, that's going to be a foul. No basket.
Well, that's going to be called on Jonah for holding Jonah Bolden as he was setting the screen. That's only his second. As they were setting the screen, Lepepe, he just sort of held on to his singlet a little bit, tried to get away with it, but good refereeing.
Adams sees a lane. Wow. Too easy. Parted like the Red Sea for Jalen, and he made it count. Now throwing it up was Mojave King, and throwing it down was Kareem Lopez in his first basket.
Young legs for both of them.
Oh, Pepe so strong. Count the basket. And he'll go to the line to convert the 3-point play. And again, Brad, this is what we talked about in the first half, just this ability to get into the rim, the paint rather, seemingly at will for the Sydney Kings. And the Breakers just haven't had an answer for it.
One-on-one, simple.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to be able to stop. Certainly when you're down 62-38, which is now 64. But he's been impressive, and spoke to Billy Tomlinson and Gorge before the game, and he's far exceeded where they thought what they were getting from Lepepe. They love what he's been able to bring to them, and Well, obviously got the start tonight and giving them everything they want.
He's now got 10 and 4 of 6 from the field, so he's the 4th Sydney King in the double figures. Jackson Cartwright, great pass! And a finish from Mojave King, and we know he can get up in a hurry.
Well, if you're wondering what New Zealand are thinking, they've just made 4 substitutions, so obviously the coach is not extremely happy, although PJC is coming out. There's no way he'd be unhappy with what he's doing, but he's trying to get some momentum going here, and I do like the fact that they're up the court a little bit more.
And Freddie Gillespie back in the game, and really want to see more from him.
Yeah, haven't seen enough yet to be able to say that.
Hasn't even taken a shot yet, Brad, so as Adams finds Tui wide open. Can't get it to fall. Here's McCarron. Looking inside for Gillespie, and it's ripped away by Alex Tui. Cooks. Liafa for 3. Yeah, in and out. Wow, that looked good. I think I talked it out of existence, that 3-point. I went a little bit quick on the yes.
I think it was in when you said yes. And
yeah,
then
that's
came out.
right. Well, it's preseason. Give me a break. Firing away for 3 and knocking it down. There's Mojave King. So,
couple of good possessions.
And that's going to be an offensive foul. Moving screen.
And this is what we want to see from Mojave King. Beautiful little offense in the first little 3 possessions where he throws the lob. Then he gets a nice cut and dunks it, and now hits the jump shot 3. This kid is a baller, and we've been saying it for a number of years. Played well in the G League. We just want to see it transition now into this New Zealand team. And not only that, they need him. They need him to be able to perform.
And there's no doubt he's got to be a key contributor for this ball club this season. Here's Stoke. McCarron with 1 has to get it up, throws it up at the buzzer and just gets it to fall.
Crafty.
So Mitch McCarron is Adams. It's too strong on the 3. And there's Gillespie on the glass. McCarron. And Savage fires and hits.
Wow, nice move. I felt they missed Gillespie there on the first rim-to-rim that he ran, and then he set some good screens, but that was a nice offensive set. A little bit of a mini run here from New Zealand, and it's coming from the defensive end getting stops.
Adams into the paint, so tough in there.
That's tough.
Jalen Adams. Well, they really needed to, Brad. They were really getting absolutely blown out of the gym, so stepped up. Now wing 3, that's off the mark, and nice touch by New Zealand. Sydney possession. Quaycentre and Sean Bruce coming back into the ball game. As the Pepe will take a seat. Again, Jalen Galloway has suited up, but not playing tonight. He's on the score sheet anyway, and Bowl Qual not playing.
I can see him sitting behind the bench, mate.
Yep.
Matty, there is not a hope he's going on there
No,
today.
I don't think so. Quaycentre throws it up and gets it to fall with a sweeping hook shot in the lane from Kuot.
Well, I think that's what's going to be a bit of his role this year when he comes on, Quaycentre. Obviously, always got to be energy on the defensive end, but he will be that little weapon that can knock down shots because the players that's going to be on the court are all weapons, and he'll be able to get some good looks.
And Savage. McCarron pulls the trigger and hits.
Good offense again. Definitely better minutes here from New Zealand and something we were hoping and expecting to see.
McCarron with 10, and Noy forces his way again into the paint, draws the foul, and Kuot will shoot 2. Next, Darling and Parker Jackson Cartwright will come into the game, as will Sam Meninga and Kyle Isaac, young development player, young Australian development player. for the Breakers.
Well, obviously 6 minutes into this quarter now, a 19-9 start here by New Zealand, and great quarter here, and that's exactly what coach would be happy about, that they've come out, make that. Oh no, he's just. Oh no, we're 19-10. I thought it was going to give the Matt McQuaid
That's in reverse.
One, yes.
That's in reverse.
But definitely what New Zealand, well, fans, coaching staff, players, everyone would want to see them come out this quarter. Now the key is keep it going for the next 4 minutes and 5 seconds.
Jackson Cartwright, who has been excellent in a beaten side, uses the screen, finds Darling in the corner, 3 balls short with it. Darling just gets his own rebound, draws the foul. Brian Gorgin will not be happy about that, and he's calling for time straight away.
That's Cam Oliver. You can't close out like that. A, it's a lazy closeout, and B, the closeout's so poor there's no way you can box that out and you just give up an offensive rebound.
So Breakers, who trail by 28 at the half, we've cut that to 20. And what are you seeing from the Kings of late, Brad? Just a couple of sloppy possessions. Defensively, it seemed like, I talked about the physicality that the Breakers needed. But it just hasn't quite happened in this quarter, so Brian not happy about it.
What I'm seeing is a team that went into halftime pretty much up by 30 and thought, do we really have to come out here in the second half and play this? Because New Zealand didn't put up a fight. That was pretty much it in the first half. They may have tried, they did their best, New Zealand, but they weren't there. And you can just see the Sydney Kings were so ready to come out and go bang in that first half, but in this second half, they just haven't been there. Gorge can see that. He's called his timeout. I'm sure that, he will be pushing, but on the other hand, you also, you got your Xavier Cooks and you got your Lepepes and these guys where it's like, well, how long, like Liafa, these guys that have, how long do I want to play them? That's really what they're thinking now. I believe there will be another game between these two in a closed gym in a couple of days.
Yeah, we talked about that, yep. At Capital East.
When do you sort of pack up and go, righto, let's let these young kids play, see what we're going to get out of this one. It'll be interesting to see where he goes with it, but yeah, he'll be definitely would have given them a rev up in that quarter, or that timeout, I should say, and so he should. And we'll see what they react like, but he would not have been happy there with Cam Oliver for sure.
McStarling on the line for 2. Gets that to 4. Sydney Kings would like to acknowledge their tremendous major partners, Harvey Norman, Beyond Bank Australia and Host Plus. Plus, of course, the naming rights sponsor of the National Basketball League, Hungry Jacks, alongside the league's major partners, Chemist Warehouse, Kmart, Bunnings Warehouse, Amy, Sportsbet, Mitsubishi Motors, Blackmores, Powerade and Tangerine. Noy left wide open. Can't get it to fall. Jackson Cartwright corrals the board. And Savage comes up
Steps
shooting.
into it. Oh, that was nice.
And rebound to Isaac. Again, another O board. Alan Gorgin won't be happy with that. And a deep catch. He's tough in there and draws the foul.
Great recognition by PJC. They couldn't get the ball, so he went and got it and just said, I can see Meninga's got someone smaller than him on him. And he just got the ball and just threw it straight over everyone and said, go and get that big fella. And he did, and put it to his left hand, his strong position. Beautiful one-on-one move and throws it over the rim. Unfortunately, it didn't drop, but he'll go to the line for 2. Great recognition, PJC.
7 points and 2 rebounds for Sam. Make that 8. Was with the Taipans last year and wanted to come home. So it was a mutual release as he knocks them both down there. So the Breakers trailing by 17. Again, at the half, they were down by 28. So cut this lead down. Tyler Robertson in for the Kings and haven't really seen that much time of yet. This is a better defensive possession for the Breakers than we've seen. Bruce going one-on-one. Oliver top of the key. 3 ball at the buzzer again. Cameron Oliver showing his touch from the outside. He's got 15 and the Kings are back out by 20.
That's heartbreaking.
And an offensive foul.
Yeah, that's going to be called on PJC. Tyler Robinson was up and into PJC and he didn't like it, so he gave him a few little hits, and then the last one, the referee just went, that's enough.
Well, it's interesting, Brad, in the NBL1 competitions, they're really all over those moving screens, so kind of think it's going to be a bit of a point of emphasis this year for officials. Good pass inside. Oh, Oliver was going for the spectacular behind the back look to Robertson.
I can't help but just look at Gore straight away. Yes, it's New Zealand's ball, but he's had the closeout that he wasn't good, but then he hits that massive three, and then he does it behind the back pass. Oh, Gorge has got no hair, but he's going to be tearing it out with this guy all year.
Robertson to the rack.
Oh, that's just terrible defence.
Tyler Robertson opens his account. Jackson Cartwright, Lopez, and it's got a very funky shooting action the next start. Playing 4 and 5 at the moment, doesn't matter, they get it inside. And Kuat Noi off another dime from Sean Bruce. That's his 8th assist, Brad. So the Kings veteran is finding guys open all over the place.
And again, they just come ready to play. I thought New Zealand, they came out, they were playing really well for those first few minutes. Well, probably 6-7 minutes, but now that last minute has just been awful from them. They've given up. Yeah, they've given up.
7 straight points.
Defensive transition has been awful. The defensive one-on-one got back to what they were doing in the first half, and all the good they've done has just been undone.
Make it 8 straight with the Kuat Noi 3-point play. And just the Kings out of that timeout, definitely upping their level defensively. As Kings off the mark with 3. And here's Noi again, just losing it out of bounds that time. No, they're calling a foul. I think they've got the youngster, and they do. Lopez with the foul.
Well, that's his 4th, yeah. And it is going to be an adjustment for him. He's young. From what we've seen, the hype is fair. I feel like, you know, the shot hasn't been outstanding, but I can understand how he's 17. This kid is 17.
Yeah,
There's been glimpses. Yeah. That's what I mean by that when I say the hype. The fact that he's 17. He's been bought here 2 years, we've got to remember. He is a 2026 NBA prospect.
Yeah.
So one of the good ones that the next stars and
good draft judges in the US having ranked at least in the top 15 as a prospect.
And that's where I feel like the hype is correct, is what I'm saying. Has it performed tonight at a high level? Didn't even expect it, but I think tonight he's shown that he could do some damage in this league as he gets older and more experienced.
Another turnover. Kings on a 10-0 run right now. Oliver makes it 12. There's one thing I think, Brad, that's coming out of this game is that Cam Oliver is back, and he's going to do some damage again.
Look at him talking on defense. He's up, he's in, he's been smiling, playing up to the crowd. You just love a guy that loves basketball.
Jackson Cartwright, what a pass inside. And the finish from Mojave King. And Jackson Cartwright, I mean, this guy, 11 points, 3 boards, 5 assists, and another 3. Malawatch knocks another one down. And just like that, Brad, it is out to 30. Gorgian called that timeout. What a pass again from Oliver says, get that out of here. Menenga. Good D by Robertson. Jackson Cartwright launches. And that's going to be last touch by the Kings. But that timeout from Gorgian, I think there were a few home truths told.
17-5 since that timeout, Matty. That's what it was there. Now the Kings are winning this quarter, 26-24, after what was a good start. But you're right, Gorge just, you asked me what would he have done. He's done it. That's what Gorge does and does so well.
And I think at this point in the preseason, it's all about setting standards, isn't it?
Absolutely. And not dropping them.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
King has been impressive. Lopez again with that funky shot, and that's a poor foul from Oliver. Chasing Lopez, who hasn't hit a 3 tonight, but he'll get an opportunity to earn 3 from the line.
It is an interesting release, Matt. You see, he catches it in the pocket and then just launches it straight from there. It doesn't have to go back or in or...
It almost looks like a shot put action. Let's have a look at him at the line. It's certainly an unusual shooting action, but again, I sound like a broken record, but this is what happens when you're young, and they'll work with him, and they'll build that up, that part of his game. And by all accounts, an excellent kid. We mentioned before, Liam Santamaria, the great man, the next star czar in attendance. See what I mean? There's that little push that he's got. And talked about, what he's been like, and he's been terrific off the court and fitted in very well. And it's got to be tough for a youngster. And his big thing was he can't believe he's going to be playing NBA guys.
Yeah.
Breakers, of course, going over there, misses all 3 there. And that's the part of his game. I mean, clearly athletic, but that shot needs a lot of work, to state the bleeding obvious. But again, young, and the potential's there. Tyler Robertson, we know he can shoot. Banks it in, top of the key. Oh, my goodness. Now at the buzzer, firing away, no good. And the Breakers were down by 28 at halftime. They cut it to 17, but after a timeout, the Kings put their foot on the accelerator yet again, and with 1 period to play, they lead 89-56, Brad Rosen.
Yeah, again, I think let's just talk about the first half of that third quarter, and I think New Zealand can take some positives out of that. They got up, they got in, they played some defence and ran some good offence. But then, as you said, the Kings called a timeout, and at that stage, I think it was 19-11 or something, whatever it was in that quarter, and the Kings ended up winning the quarter 29-24, and that was literally all in the 4 minutes or 3.5 minutes since that timeout. So I'm watching New Zealand here. He's got a tight group and he's having a chat with them and really trying to get his message across. But there is a lot of work for New Zealand Breakers that can take out of this game. But as far as the Sydney Kings concerned, couldn't be happier with Cam Oliver coming back into the league, doing what he's doing, and really some great minutes from everyone.
Once again, 2024-2025 is going to be a huge season for the Sydney Kings as they aim to take the throne. They need your help, and they need you there in the stands at Kudos Bank Arena. If you haven't already, you can grab your season membership now from just $59. Become a member today at ticketek.com.au/Sydney Kings. So 1 period to play, Brad. And again, from the Breakers team, it's very loud in here. The music's really pumping here at Quaycentre. But
well, New Zealand probably think they're at a disco right now. This thing is going off in here. But look, Kings, 89 points in 3 quarters of basketball. That's just too much if you're New Zealand. And
what do you want to see if you...
Well, win the quarter.
Yeah.
Win the quarter. That's the first thing, right? Yeah. So how do you win the quarter? Set your standards and be able to get what you want to be able to put a platform moving forward from this year. So to win the quarter means we're going to play good defense. We're going to box out. We're not going to give up offensive rebounds, and we're not going to turn the ball over. So that's the standard you want to set. Offensively, move the ball from one side to the next. You get a look, shoot it, no problems, but then get back in transition.
So we're underway in the final period here. Pre-season action at Quaycentre. Matt McQuaid and Brad Rosen with you. Hope you're enjoying the action, wherever you may be watching around the world. And if watching in New Zealand, thank you for staying with us on a late night. But, again, guys, it's one game. It's your first game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of upside in this team. It's going to take some time. Bairstow has it stripped. Again, the Kings done a great job with that tonight. New Zealand's 15th turnover. Kings with just 3. Looking inside, Bruce. Again, great ball movement. Noy, corner 3, splash.
Beautiful offense. Absolutely beautiful offense.
So, Mason Spurgeon, Kings development player, in the game now. I see some minutes. King 3, swish the other way.
And that's the 3 he wants. He took one a little bit earlier as 2 is out in the open here and shoots a 3.
Misses everything. Spurgeon tries to save it, but he can't.
But I was just
17 points, sorry, Brad, 17 points in 16 minutes for Mojave. So
yeah, I was just going to
really
say that
pleasing
3.
signs.
It is. That 3 that he took is great. The one that he took a little bit before when it was in transition over people, that's not the shot you want from him.
Jackson Cartwright again, just so tough getting into the paint. This guy is barely 5'7", but plays much bigger than that. It's an outstanding competitor. As I said, he's got the heart of a lion in that one.
Matty, I just want to know on Monday when Derek Rucker brings his top 15 out.
D-Ruck, if you're watching.
I just want to know,
Bradley's
has
going
he
to torture
changed
you again?
that top 15 after tonight's game, or is he going to stick with what he thought?
Well, actually, I had a good chat with PJC prior to the game, and I did mention the 7th place. He said, man, too early. It's just too early. Let's see. So, no, he was all good about it.
Jack Heverin and myself were at the game when PJC came over, and we weren't going to stop him jumping over and having a go at Derek.
Well, I thought he was there, but decided not to. Spurgeon, and draws the foul underneath. Here's Jason Spurgeon.
Number 11, Grant, and 50.
Again, one of the 3 college players the Kings have. From Bowling Green State University. And hoping that he can give him some minutes this year. And it's called for an offensive foul as Gillespie is sent flying. And I think if I'm the Breakers, again, it is early. I think probably the expectation on Gillespie, I mean, they're talking about him as, obviously we mentioned it, they've been loving what they've seen from him in training as a rim protector and a guy who can run the floor. We haven't seen any of that tonight. Offensively, it's probably going to be a bit tough for him, it seems. Again, it's early, I want to point out. But it's probably something that, we want to see a bit more out of him. And the blitz is going to be huge for these guys, I think, more than anything else.
Well, I'm with you, Matty. I'm with you,
just to develop that chemistry,
well, it is.
And roles and
but if you
understanding
talk like
each other.
a Cam Oliver, he's come out tonight and he's had himself, 17 points and gone back, but he's been in this league before.
Correct.
And I get that,
Correct.
Right?
That's the thing, right?
But what you always love is you love to see a guy, Gillespie, there's a lot of hype. Let's see what that hype is and see if we can deliver it. We haven't actually seen that tonight. So, of course, there's going to be scratching the head. Geez, I hope we've got that guy. You got to get a few games under the belt before you can make that decision for sure.
Jackson Cartwright. King thinking about it.
Nice.
Throws it up and it's just rejected. I think Spurgeon got a piece of it.
Good defense.
Malawatch. Firing away and Spurgeon thought that was down. Here's PJC the other way for the Breakers. PJC kicks it out. 3 ball. That's short. And Bairstow. And here come the Kings the other way through Noy. Robertson. Noy pulls the trigger and hits.
Well, he just racks up points, doesn't he? He just knows how to put the ball in the hole, as simple as that.
19 points off the bench for Kawat Noy.
In 15 minutes as well, Matty. Unbelievable.
New Zealand just unable to knock down the 3 ball tonight. Spurgeon throws up a high arcing shot and banks that sucker in. My goodness. Jason Spurgeon. So Kings going way deep into their bench.
Great pass.
Another superb pass from PJC, but unfortunately, Ninasevic unable to knock it down. And that's a blocking foul. As PJC goes into the basket stanchion. And that's the last thing you want to see.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, though, that seemed like a pretty unlucky foul, but I mean, obviously we don't get the slow-mo replays and everything that we would normally get, but it looked like the contact was made more from the offensive end than what looked like from the defense.
So timeout has been called. And again, tickets for the 2024-2025 Sydney Kings season are on sale now. First home game over the regular season is Sunday, the 29th of September. Then 6 games before Christmas, then another 7 post-Christmas. Grab your tickets now from ticketek.com.au/Sydney Kings. So, I think overall, it's obviously easy to say this with a 36-point advantage, but I think for the most part, Ryan Georgian would be pretty happy with his team, generally speaking. Had that little that drop off in the third, Brad, but I think that the big thing for me is the ball movement. The defense, we know that's kind of a staple. That's going to happen. But the way this team's been training now, I think it's 3 weeks. Brian's only been back in the country for 3 weeks since Paris. So I think to have that kind of ball movement and unselfishness, it sets an early tone for this program.
And don't forget Jalen Galloway and Bull Quoll still to come into this team. So there's a lot of nice pieces to still follow through. But, I mean, Gorge will be ecstatic. Exactly what he would have wanted for this is exactly what he got out of it. And now, you know, they draw a line in the sand and go, we are not going below where we are right now.
Kitch Malawatch at the line knocks it down. One more to come. Again, really good pre-season crowd here at the Quaycentre. Where it all began for the Purple and Gold way back in 1988. Yes. They were here for their first 2 years of existence at the State Sports Centre, and where we're standing, they had standing room only in 1989, as foul has been called by Malawatch. A bit too physical with PJC. But that was the start of it all. Mike Wroblewski, may rest in peace, the great man, the founder, had a vision for this club, and it all started right here. It brings back a lot of memories.
Oh, so many
some
good
ones
memories.
for my partner here, who was here as an assistant coach. We talked about it, particularly Game 4 in the 2004 Grand Final Series. Kings were down 2-1. Razorbacks, they brought the trophy. They had the confetti ready to go, and Brett Wheeler and Matty Nielsen and Ebi Arra said, not so fast. Before, of course, that legendary Game 5 at the Sydney Entertainment Centre. Noy, Robertson fires, that's well short. And rebound, Jackson Cartwright. Karen on the trail. And rebound, and fight for it, and it's out of bounds.
Well, that's better from Gillespie. That's what they want. Crashing the glass, causing havoc in there, and gets his team an extra possession. Great work. And I do like this substitution. PJC, you're done.
Yeah.
You got out what you want.
I'm surprised that they kept him out there as long as they did, in all honesty. He's a superstar. I just can't take a risk with him as Robertson knocks it away and draws the foul.
Sloppy turnover again,
Isaac. Yeah, it's been one of the stories of this game. But it's sort of going forward from that point I was talking about. This is where it all started. Well, what's fascinating is that these two teams met in what was a classic grand final 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And games 3 and 5 were the two largest crowds in NBL history, and the third largest crowd in Game 5 in the history of Australian basketball. The only two crowds larger than that at 18,000 plus. As Robertson gets his own rebound off a missed free throw and scores. The only two larger crowds were the two games at Marvel Stadium, United States and Australia. That's Australia getting that famous victory, the second of those games. But this goes to show how far this Sydney Kings program has come since all those years ago. It's hard to believe. And that's a big credit to Paul Smith and co. Of course, moving on, not the majority owner anymore, as Jonah Bolden gets that to fall at the buzzer. Kelly Lepepe absolutely destroys Freddie Gillespie on the way through. And that's out of bounds, turnover. Tyler Robertson. But yeah, when the Kings started, basketball in this city was really nowhere. And
well, I'm just watching here, Lepepe and Gillespie. They had a little bump into each other, and Gillespie is not happy. Gone over and told Cooks he's not happy about him as well.
Yep. And
Lepepe says, mate, I didn't even feel it. That felt like a little fly on those biceps. Look at the size of those things.
He's got guns. There's no doubt about it. He is a physical specimen. And as you mentioned, Brad, Brian Gorgian talked to us about it, and they think he's way ahead of what they expected coming out of college.
Far exceeds their expectation at the moment.
Played for a really good program, of course, Royal the Marymount. But the NBL is a step up. And on this showing, it's exciting news for fans of the purple and gold. He's going to be a guy that's going to be fun to watch and a real fan favourite, you feel. Firing away and burying it from the wing is Kyer Isaac. And he's a very talented youngster. Again, an Australian development player. Robertson looks to respond and does. And that young man can fill it up from
the
deep.
Just lack of communication there. The defender goes under, but he gets no help, so you've got to make a decision. Are you going over? If you go under, you've got to double which way you're going, and that was just poor defensive work on the cross screen, on the pick and roll, I'm sorry.
And McCarron just uses it out of bounds, and good defense by the Kings. They were trying to find Gillespie inside, and Kings were just having none of it. And Isaac harassing Robertson. Pepe. Malawatch. Hangs, fires, hits, draws the foul. And McCooch has 9 points with an opportunity to be yet another Sydney King in double-figure scoring with a trip to the line for the three-point play.
I remember having a chat with Billy Tomlinson, Sydney Kings assistant coach, about this kid a few months ago, and he said to me, "What have you seen? Like, we're loving what we think we can bring this kid." And I just said there was games, and I think it was against Melbourne last year, if I'm not mistaken, but he had a couple of games last year which he was really unbelievable, and you could just see this kid's got some talent now. Where's it going to go? And I tell you, in this type of program with this type of coaching staff, he couldn't be more helpful and more hopeful of where it will go.
Well, Pepe. Spurgeon. Now, firing away, Clarius Amir seeing his first action. One of the Kings' 3 development players on the squad. Isaac rejected by Amir. He's got terrific length. And they'll reset. 4 on the shot clock. Isaac has got to get it up. And travelling violation, turns the ball over.
Well, this is the strength of what a Gorgian program brings. You pretty much look, I mean, Lepepe started, but the other kids on this bench, and I say on the court, I say kids in the sense of minutes-wise, they're performing at a high level, and here's another one, and Robinson comes in and he's doing his job, and it's a three-point play.
And this thing is blown out beyond 40 now, and it's unfortunate, but again, New Zealand, they had that brief period in the third when it looked like they were a bit more physical, they were a bit more aggressive, and it translated. They cut it to 17. Brian Gorgian calls a timeout, and ever since then it's just been an absolute rout. And look, there's not great signs, particularly defensively. And as I said, Brad, I think the thing that I'm more looking for this team is they need to be more physical. They've just been bullied tonight. And
I'm surprised to see Parker Jackson Cartwright come back into the
game. I'm shocked at that. You're down 43, and, I mean, he's the man for you.
I'm just not sure what you achieve out of that, but I guess they're trying to set a bit of a platform here, and this is what we expect.
Spurgeon. Amir finds Lepepe. Short jumper is good. Kelly Lepepe has been outstanding.
He's done that a couple of times off the little left foot.
Yeah, a little bit of a Dirk Nowitzki. Yes, there you go. Exactly. Lepepe with 12 off the bench. Actually got the start. Step back shot from Jackson Cartwright. And Savage with the board. Now going up. Great scoop shot in the lane. And we know that kid is a Skywalker, and we just saw why right there.
Well,
in a well-beaten team, he's been terrific. In a well-beaten team, 19 with one to come.
He has, you're right, 19 points in 19 minutes as well. 3 of 7 from the three-point line. He's given them 5 rebounds, 3 turnovers, but, I mean, you know, you're fine with that as he is, but looking forward to seeing him grow into this team and into this league with the minutes he will get with this team.
Robertson. Lepepe to the rack. Hangs, fires, and somehow gets it to go. Kelly Lepepe again. 14 points for him. And inside, Lopez, King, Menenga fires and off the mark with it. And it will go back to the Sydney Kings. So, as we mentioned, on Sunday, these two teams will meet again. It's a closed-door scrimmage, so it won't be televised at Hoops Capital East in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, near the Sydney Cricket Ground. Malawatch steps back, hits. So Malawatch, he's got 12. Yet another Sydney King into double-figure scoring. And we run down 2 minutes remaining. 7 players in double figures. And
well, when you score 116, it's bound to happen, I guess, Matty.
Well, I'll send their home fans back to their abodes. Very, very happy with what they've seen tonight. A lot of positives. And really, I mean, after the debacle of last season's PJC will get an easy layup. Oh, it gets pinned. That's going to be 2 points. The pin wedgie, you don't see that very often. But, yeah, I mean, from a Kings perspective, and obviously the caveat of only the preseason, but you kind of feel like they needed this. You know, there was so many bad vibes around that team last season. There just really was. And, you know, in the stands, and, you know, the fans were disgruntled. You know, there was a lot of booing going on. And you know what? Rightly so, because that was a team that just completely imploded. You know, it has to be said. And, you know, they've made a complete break from that. And I guess it was so shocking because this was a team that obviously was looking for the three-peat, which,
well, this is
where you were a part of it.
You do have to give the club credit. Yeah. They saw it, actioned against it very quickly.
Yep.
And then made the changes that was necessary. And no one's thinking about last year now.
No.
Because you've got new coaches, new team. It's gone.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And they did a real good job rather than just going, no, we're going to stick with this and see what we can do, and we think we'll fight through it. No. Yep. And impressive what they've been able to do. And
again,
it all starts with the man.
It's not exactly. It's not an overreaction. It's more just it's a statement of fact that I think they needed this tonight because, you know, for those watching, obviously, you're a bit unsure about let's be honest. There's been a lot of negativity around Brian after the Olympic Games.
Completely
whether it's justified
wrong.
or not.
Completely wrong.
But
the guy bought us a bronze medal.
Yeah, I know. King corner 3 got it. Yeah, he's been excellent. I mean, there's a positive. I think Mojave. Oh, a big throw down there from Makuch Malawatch, and we know he can get up. But I was saying Mojave King, huge positive for New Zealand tonight, as was PJC. But, you're a Kings fan, you have to be excited about what you're seeing. Not just what they put up tonight in points, but just the way they've gone about it, particularly defensively. McCarron gets absolutely monstered and still finishes through traffic, showing his strength.
Yeah, look, McCarron got 12 points at the moment, the free throw to come. He's a nice piece for them as well. You know, like, we have to remember this guy is a Boomer, has played for the Boomers, is very good, was outstanding at his time in Cairns and Melbourne. Things didn't go probably to plan as it did in Adelaide, but I didn't think he was awful in Adelaide. It just didn't go to plan, and I think it's a great, great signing for them and probably something he needed as well.
Robertson. Malawatch again for 3. Not that time. And Pepe, just a monster on the glass. And, you know, that's the thing we talked about, Brad. You know, the Kings don't have the size of some teams. They're going to make up for it with guys like Lepepe just being an absolute animal on the glass. And
well, this is what we've seen tonight, and you're right about the size. It's not going to happen. So how do you beat that? you just play mongrel on the defensive end, and they've got the length, they've got the wings, they've got the space, and they've got the athleticism, and that's what got shown tonight. And really, New Zealand came out and just got walloped. And from the second the jump ball went, I think it was 8-2 to start the game, Matty, where the Kings just went bang, and they were up and in. And New Zealand was turnover, missed shot because it was a forced quick shot. And then overall, the Sydney Kings have just dominated, and it all started on the defensive end.
So here's King, who's been excellent, as we said, in a beaten team. Here's Mahat going to the rack, and just Lopez, and just hasn't been his night, unfortunately. The next star, and they'll dribble it out, and that's it. It's all over. Head coaches shake hands. The Sydney Kings open their pre-season with a highly impressive performance. 120-76 over the New Zealand Breakers. Brad Rosen.
Well, unfortunately, I'll start with New Zealand because there's not a whole lot of positives to come out of it. But they will take, the positives they can take out of this is there were times when they ran their sets and played the right defence that they can be a good ball club, and I still think they will be. They're obviously an import down tonight, but I thought Jackson Cartwright was outstanding. I thought Mojave King was great. McCarron's been a good fit for them, and the others will have to fill around. 76 points is not going to get you wins in this club and in this league, and it's certainly not going to get you wins if you're bringing up 120 points, and that's just unforgivable. The turnovers were too high, the percentage of shots they took, poor shots, was too high, and it was just a game that they will obviously look back on and realise that's where this is what our minimum is of where we've got to start. For the Sydney Kings, could not be more impressive. It's, a lot of people have them at their number one, and rightly so. There's a lot of changes, Matty. You said about New Zealand having 8 changes. There was also a lot for the Sydney Kings, but overall I thought Jalen Adams didn't get out of first gear tonight. Xavier Cooks was unbelievable. In the limited minutes that he played, he was just the old Xavier Cooks, and then you can go down and, the new guys is what you wanted to see, and Lepepe was great. Cam Oliver coming back and really sort of, expressed his thing. Lee Arthur, minimal minutes, minimal points, but loved what he gave. Sean Bruce with his many assists. But overall, I think the Sydney Kings can be extremely ecstatic to start the way they are, and now they've got to build on this.
So I'll run through the final stats for you. Once again, the score: Sydney Kings 120, New Zealand Breakers 76. The Kings shot the ball 63% from the field, 45 of 71. They were 12 of 31 from 3 at 38%, 18 of 23 from the foul line at 78%. No fewer than 7 Kings in double-figure scoring, led by Kuat Noi off the bench, 19 points and 3 rebounds on 5 of 8 shooting. Cameron Oliver just showed what an acquisition he's going to be. Off the bench, 17 points, 9 boards for Cam and a couple of steals. Kelly Lepepe couldn't have been more impressive. 6 of 8 from the field, 5 of 5 from 2, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 16 points and 4 rebounds. Alex Tui had most of his damage was done early with 12 points
it was.
And a couple of rebounds. Xavier Cooks played just under 13 minutes for 11 points and 5 rebounds. As you mentioned, Jalen Adams, just didn't get out of second gear. 6 points and 3 assists in limited minutes. Tyler Robertson finished with 14 off the bench. So did Makuch Malawatch. For the Breakers, very tough night for them, obviously, as we said. They shot the ball 38% from the field, 10 of 36 from 3, 18 of 30. They missed a ton of free throws, 60%. They're led by Mojave King, who really flashed some signs, some great signs for them. 22 points and 5 boards. Parker Jackson Cartwright did all he could, 15 points, 6 assists and 4 rebounds. Mitch McCarron, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists off the bench. Some of the key stats that you look at here. Rebound count, fairly even, Brad.
I'll tell you the biggest stat
30
back.
actually was even, 37 apiece. But look at the bench points.
Yeah,
70 to 32. That was massive. Points in the paint also for the Kings. And again, 50 to 26. That was the advantage there. 12 steals to 1. Breakers with just way too many turnovers, 19. And the Kings, 25 points off New Zealand's mistakes.
Very impressive, Matty.
Just
Very impressive.
Just some final thoughts before we sign out.
Well, I just think something to build on now. Sydney Kings will go away from this and realise this is where we've got to go, and they've still got to bring Galloway and Bull Quo into this competition as well with this team. But for New Zealand, look, you just put that in your back pocket and say, look, it's just one of those games. They know they're so much better than that, and they've got to learn. They've got a new coach and a new system, and it looked like it tonight. So they will only be better for the run.
Next up for both teams will be the NBL Blitz on the Gold Coast, which starts next Saturday, 7th of September. The Kings will play South East Melbourne on September 11th before facing New Zealand for the second time in the pre-season on September the 13th, and they finish the Blitz tournament against Cairns. As for the Breakers, they play Perth on September the 8th, Adelaide on the September the 11th, and then their battle with the Kings September the 13th. Check the NBL website for the Blitz schedule and make sure you tune in to KO Freebies to what is always a great event. So, on behalf of Brad Rosen, who's done an outstanding job, so great to call games with you. It's been too long, partner.
It has been a long time, Matty, and great to be here, and thank you for having me.
And good luck in the season ahead. I know you'll do a fabulous job. I'm Matt McQuaid. It's been great to have your company tonight. Support your club in NBL25. Make sure you buy your season tickets. It's going to be one heck of a season. Stay safe wherever you are. Good night.